What's up, guys? Welcome back to more Reddit stories about entitled people, insane people, and all that kind of stuff. Hope you're all doing awesome today. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't yet for more Reddit content, and let's get into today's stories. I hunted down my credit card thieves. Yesterday morning, I received an email notification from my credit card company stating a transaction for $1,500 at a med spa was declined, and another stating it was approved. I immediately called said credit card company to report the fraudulent charge. Turns out my card has had fraudulent charges over the past 3 weeks with purchases, including various hotels in my area, eBay, gas station, self-storage, and a moving truck rental. I rarely use this card. The last time I used it in person was in February, and last online purchase in 2023. Fortunately, my credit card company flagged all recent charges and closed my card. This morning, my significant other had a doctor appointment in the same city as a hotel purchase made yesterday. After the doctor, boyfriend asked me what I thought we should do today. I said, well, you wanted to shop for some new shoes, or we can swing by this hotel up the street and see if the credit card thieves are still there. The amount of the charge seemed like it would cover 2 or 3 days. So boyfriend and I go to the hotel to see if the people were still checked in, and to let them know the card was stolen and the charges would be reversed. Front desk lady was pissed. She was able to find the reservation by card number and noted that the person had, quote, kept changing cards to pay for the room. Of course, they didn't tell me the room number, much to my boyfriend's dismay. I called the credit card company and they asked me to call the police. I called the sheriff department and they arrived within 20 minutes. I was surprised they even came. I gave them my report, ID, and credit card. The deputy asked if I wanted to prosecute. I said yes. Then they went inside and spoke to the front desk, who provided them the invoice. Boyfriend and I waited outside in front of the lobby. Then, through the automatic sliding doors, I hear the front desk lady yell, "That's him, he's trying to leave." A dude with a bull terrier and several bags gets placed in cuffs. He gets brought outside, searched, and doggo gets cuffed to a trash can. Then another guy gets brought out in cuffs. A third deputy arrives and brings out a fancy lady with a face full of fillers, 2 suitcases, and a Coach backpack. 4 officers start going through the backpacks on the hood of their car. We see passports, IDs, credit cards. They pull out a big credit card printing machine and a laptop. Then they pull out a big Ziploc filled with crystal meth, and the cop exclaims, "Here we go," and turns towards us to flash a smile. 2 of them go back to search the hotel room and bring down 2 bags with more drugs, a scale, 4 car keys, and a big wad of cash. Unfortunately, none of the cars were in the parking lot, and the perps said they had been traveling by Uber. The cops contacted one of the thief's friends to pick up the dog, who arrived pretty quickly. It was an older dude with tattoos, flashy jewelry, and an old luxury SUV. Don't worry, we got his pics and license plates. The deputies then gave me all the paperwork and told me that one of the guys said they stole my card off of the internet. I would have guessed that they used a scanner while I was at the fair a few weeks ago. I find that so weird because I haven't used my card online in almost a year. Apparently, they made a physical card that had a different name on it. Anyhow, I walk inside to give the front desk a copy of the incident number, and then I remembered something else. I remember seeing another transaction for a storage unit that was made yesterday, and 2 charges at a rental truck company. I go back outside and talk to the sheriff, and asked him if he wanted me to try to figure out where that was. I was able to track down the storage location to a city about 15 minutes away, but no can do on the trucks. I called the storage place, and they confirmed that a payment was made with my card, but would not give me the unit number. From there, the sheriff said that it was out of their jurisdiction, and they would try to get a search warrant, but that might take a while. However, it might be helpful if I made a police report with the other city. So with nothing better to do, I drove my ass over there and made another police report regarding the storage unit. That's it for now. Boomer doesn't like political sign, commits mail fraud. For the past 3 years, I've been putting political signs up in my lawn, and I live right across the street from a boomer who also likes to put up political signs. However, our views undeniably clash. 1 year ago, however, one of my signs seemingly disappeared from my lawn. At first, I just assumed it had just blown away in the wind. 1 year later, I put up some signs once again, and so did the other guy. 2 weeks later, I got a letter in the mail that came from the county, who apparently had seen my political signs and wanted to let me know that they were, quote, too big for the county limits. The letter had multiple spelling and format mistakes, and didn't look official at all. Suspicious, I called the city council and asked about the limits on signs, and they said that such rules were completely false. Me and my neighbor have constantly clashed, so I was extremely suspicious that he had taken them down because he didn't like my opinion. I had no evidence, but it was completely in line with things he had done in the past. Now this last week, 3 of my signs disappeared from my lawn again. I was furious, but still without proof. So 3 days ago I installed a hidden camera in my garden and 3 new signs. I waited for him to take the bait, and sure enough, yesterday my signs are missing once again. I checked the camera immediately, giddy with joy, and to no surprise, it was who I expected. While I don't have proof of mail fraud, I can add 1 and 1 together and safely assume that he was the violator of both crimes. However, the old guy is a former cop, and no action has been taken when I have reported his illegal activities to the cops previously. Crimes such as burning trash, trespassing, etc. So as much as I am tempted of calling the cops, I don't want to cause a massive stir in the neighborhood. I also feel like it is a bit of a lost cause in even trying. I will, however, talk to him about his actions and set the record straight. Update. I just talked to him an hour ago, asked him if he had been stealing my signs. Did not say I have video proof. He acted insulted and said he was disgusted that I accused him of such an act. So now I know he's lying straight to my face, even though I'm not surprised. I'm going to hold off from any further action now. That's different. For background, after bouncing around between security companies, I got an in-house position as casino security, and after a year transferred to surveillance. After 2 years being a glorified company stalker, I have become more or less unfazed by the stupidity of our customers and the local drug addicts and seeing more human anatomy than anyone outside a medical profession should. Be it people that don't know the difference between the bathroom they walk past to leave and our back alley, the 2 drunks that decided our bar was the new spot to have sex, or the addict that decided to strip naked in our restroom before streaking through the casino to take a dump in a mop bucket and pass out. Tonight's shift, though, brought a new one, not just for me, but also the local PD and DOG, Department of Gaming, agents. Some of this was pieced together from talking to other involved parties, as I copied video coverage for the likely court case. So that said, on to the story. About an hour before my shift ended, the phone rang and caller ID flagged it as one of the casino managers. I don't like this manager as she has a tendency of turning molehills into mountain ranges. Calls from her are usually tedious BS, like her complaining that someone we 86'd was outside, across the street going into another casino. 86 means kicked out or refused service. Fortunately, it was a pretty straightforward issue, of someone cashing out $500 from another player's machine and pocketing it. Simple direct, pull coverage, identify suspect, track them and pass the info to Department of Gaming when they arrive, as the manager already called them. Except, as I'm pulling up cameras and grabbing coverage, I see one of the new police officers come running in, grab one of our security and drag him outside, on live video. At which point I get another call from the same manager. I wish I was making this up. This police officer, still in the uniform shirt that says she's in her 90-day probationary period, had snagged our security guard to help her keep people away from a statue in an alcove between our casino and the neighboring casino. Why? Because, as the manager phrases it, there's some guy attempting to f the statue outside. Pretty sure my brain made an audible record scratch noise when she said that. So I switch workstations, because our outdated software doesn't allow you to pull up and save multiple sets of video at once. And yep, there is indeed a man in front of the property on the town's main street, pants around his knees demonstrating his carnal appreciation of statuary. So now I'm wondering why exactly PD didn't just arrest him, and because it is to some degree on our property, I have to go back and see how long he's been doing this. This man came out of the neighboring casino with his junk already out, started walking down the sidewalk while jerking it, stopped at the statue and then dropped his pants down and went to town on it. Which is about the time PD drove by on patrol and promptly pulled over, tried to stop him, and got punched for her efforts. So she went looking for help until she could get back up. As she was told, the only other on-duty law enforcement officer was on another call. Due to being a relatively small town, after 9, everything goes through the sheriff department dispatch, which I maintain list brain damage as a requirement for the position. Our security is not allowed to go hands-on unless the other person swings first, so he can do effectively nothing. So Department of Gaming arrives expecting a standard cash theft call, only to find a man redefining art appreciation, while our security and a rookie cop with the beginnings of a bruised jaw try and redirect what little foot traffic we have at 3 a.m. away from him. Rather than risk getting punched himself and after telling the rookie cop she's an idiot, Department of Gaming tells her to tase the guy and cuff him. Which is when they made their way to my corner of hell where I'm trying to process what the hell I just witnessed. So yeah, now we have a report in our log that will be passed through my department director to all upper management, including our CEO and COO, with the line, PD entered surveillance and requested any available coverage relating to the arrest of an individual attempting carnal relations with the statue. I'm dreading the fact that in a few months, I'm likely going to have to drag myself out of bed about the time I usually get home from work to show up and testify in court to witnessing a man sexually violate a statue. And if you're curious, no, it's not a statue of a woman. It's a short, ugly-ass statue of a man, with the artistic quality you'd expect if you asked a third grader to draw a dwarf from Lord of the Rings. The casino next to us uses the board it's holding to display restaurants' daily specials. He also was apparently kicked out by them after he decided it was okay to masturbate at their blackjack tables. Entitled people humbled at passport control. I was waiting in the passport line in Iceland where a lot of flights land very early in the morning and have a short layover, think around 1 hour before connecting to a new flight. Me and so many others got off our flight that landed at 6:30 a.m., waited in passport control and had to make a connecting flight that was taking off at 7:20 a.m. The non-EU side of the passport line had nearly 200 plus people waiting in line, and it was going about as fast as it could. So slow, and that's just the reality of it. At 6:30 a.m., most people took their tiredness and knew the best bet was to just wait in line and hope the flight waits for most of its passengers, or just quietly accept that connection isn't going to happen. Except for one family. Back of the line, one man goes nearly to the front and pesters this half-awake 20-year-old kid about cutting in front of him because his flight is leaving soon. No crap, everyone's is. Kid says sure. I don't blame him, it's too early to argue. Line cutter waves to the back and shouts, he said we can go in front of him. And 6 other entitled folks, his family, they were all dressed in matching tropical vacation clothes, come striding their way up to the spot in the front. Cue uproar from the whole line. What do you think you're doing? Go to the back. Go back to where you were, you aren't special. The line cutter tried to reason his way and say, but we have a connection that leaves at 7:30. And the resounding, we all do too, from the rest of the line was poetic. It was gratifying in real time to see the man look around and see 200 plus people in the exact same situation as him, and he was not special. He finally sheepishly waved his family back to go back to his old spot at the back of the line. I finally made it through passport control and made it to my flight around 7:10, and my EU partner was able to get to the gate quicker, EU speedy line perks, and begged them to hold the gate and wait for me there, and I was one of the last ones on the flight. I was in the front third of the passport line while the line cutters were way behind me, so I don't know if they made their flight or not, but at least it was some morning entertainment. Alright guys, that's all for today. Thank you for watching, I appreciate it. And as always, if you enjoyed, be sure to like and subscribe for more Reddit content. So take care, I'll see you in the next one.